Yo, yo, yo. What? Did I just say yo, yo, yo? Unironically? Yeah. Damn. Alright, I'm gonna talk about how Labor Day is bullshit. A lot of our rituals, a lot of our holidays, which I'm calling rituals, are bullshit. But let's talk about Labor Day and how it has conservative roots. It is more it was more created to subdue the public after what's called the Pullman strikes, and this was when 150,000 railway workers refused to service the trains, like completely stopped the trains. President Cleveland brought in the U.S. Marshals because he invoked the idea that it's illegal because the U.S. Postal Service needs the trains. And so, this is a serious matter. We're going to bring in the U.S. Marshals to shut this down. Now, why were the Pullman workers striking? Well, the straw that broke the camel's back was the severe cutting of wages by about 25% and laying off thousands of workers. Now, this was during an economic depression, and but before then, that's the straw that broke the camel's back. Okay, but there was still more weight on this camel before that straw, let's say, and I'm still in the process of learning more about that. Unfortunately, I don't have a whole lot more information beyond George Pullman, who Pullman was the what I think the largest railway, or a railway tycoon, at least during the 19th century, late 19th century. This took place. What is it? When did this take place? 1894. 1894. And he was a railway tycoon who was creating it said a company town, and I don't fully understand what is meant by that yet. There is a book that I have my eye on to read that's more about that in particular, but it reminds me of Facebook. I think it was Facebook or some other big tech company that was talking about creating, a neighborhood or some town for their workers to live in. And so I wonder if there's something similar there. But, hey, if anybody has more information about that, feel free to comment wherever this is being posted. So, yeah, that's why they were striking, because of just terrible working conditions. And then the final straw of cutting wages, firing people, and they just couldn't take it anymore. Let's go to this article called Labor Day is May 1st. And this is in Jacobin magazine. I'm sorry if I'm saying Jacobin incorrectly. If you could politely correct me, that would be awesome. But first, I want to point out that I posted this article on Facebook, and it has been taken down. Now, either the person who originally posted it took it down, but yeah, a lot of my posts get taken down. I don't know how or why on Facebook, but it is kind of annoying. Luckily, I remembered how to find the article. Otherwise, I would have been sad that was lost forever. So this is the article that was taken down from Facebook. It's Labor Day is May 1st. At the end of the 19th century, the American labor movement was among the most militant in the world. Ooh, man. So we think about France and like the Yellow Jackets and all of that. It sounds like we, or the Americans over here, were pretty lit themselves. From the stockyards of Chicago to the coal mines of Pennsylvania, workplaces all over the country were in open revolt. Strikes were commonplace, often leading to violent confrontations between rebellious workers and private militias, like the despised Pinkertons. Strikes were commonplace. Even Marx held high hopes for revolution in the U.S., speculating that the country's long battles over suffrage ripened conditions for revolt. Nowhere does social inequality obtrude itself more harshly than in the eastern states of North America, he wrote, because it is nowhere less glossed over by political inequality. The nation's business elite also appreciated the revolutionary challenge posed by American workers. In 1882, one conservative writer described his panic in the Atlantic Monthly, lamenting that an American species of socialism is inevitable. Tragically, our labor movement was never strong enough to buck the tyranny of capitalism for good. And today, with union membership in dramatic decline and workers under sustained attack from the political establishment, this militant past often feels like a distant, even irretrievable memory. Think of us today, and there's a whole nother episode to discuss how we are wage slaves even today. There's so many people. We know about the Amazon workers. That's case number one. How hard they're worked, how low they're paid, the dehumanizing treatment, peeing in bottles, being monitored by AI and being fired by computer. That's where we live today, and so we still have a battle. And that's why it's important to understand things like Labor Day, because Labor Day was created to subdue the public. President Cleveland introduced Labor Day 3 days after the Pullman strikes were busted by the U.S. Marshals. How many U.S. Marshals did the president use at the time? He mustered a heavily armed force of more than 14,000 U.S. Marshals, soldiers, and mercenaries to break the strike. After days of fighting and more than 30 workers killed, the strikes were dispersed and trains began to move. Labor Day has conservative roots. In 1894, President Grover Cleveland pushed Congress to establish the holiday as a way to de-escalate class tension following the Pullman strike, during which as many as 90 workers were gunned down by thousands of U.S. Marshals serving at the pleasure of railway tycoon George Pullman, one of the time's most hated industrial barons. Labor Day is also meant to overshadow May Day, which May Day is the real Labor Day. If we want to talk about Labor Day as celebrating laborers' victories over what? My understanding is there's nothing to celebrate with Labor Day. We get one day off, but the needs of the Pullman strikers were not met. It doesn't look like it was. It doesn't sound like Labor Day was, they gave the wages back to the workers, that the conditions were improved for the workers. It doesn't sound like that occurred. But what occurred was a day off and a remembrance of what? So May Day is why we celebrate instead of Labor Day. May Day is what we celebrate, because that is when we won the 8-hour workday and the weekend. And now think about that. When did that occur? May Day. The first May Day was celebrated 1886 with a general strike of 300,000 workers at 13,000 businesses across the United States. And before And there's more to that.